What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another live stream. Happy Tuesday to everyone. Hope you are all well, and happy International Women's Day. We have to look after the women. We have to appreciate all the great women in our life. So happy International Women's Day to all of you. And yeah, we're going to be talking transfers mainly when it comes to Arsenal today. As you can see by the title in the video, we're being linked with Marcus Rashford, Serge Gnabry, Lucas Paqueta. I mean, you know, I suppose it will depend on what competition we're in. Let's be totally honest. Like, if we're in the Champions League, these are maybe the levels that we can look at. If we're in the Europa League or, you know, God forbid we're not in Europe, then I think our list will look a little bit different. Let me just say that. But big up to each and every one of you in the chat. Hope you're all well, South London. Big up, Big C. Respect, bro. C Unit, be late. Hey, man, I know. Apologies, people. Lateness is greatness, though. Herb said, big up the women. Big up all the quality women in our lives, man. We have to give thanks for them, you know. JK said Rashford 24 or Sterling 27, both 1 year left on their contract. I would be all over one of them if we could get them for 45 million or under. And you make a great point there. We have spoken about Sterling a number of times. And for me, definitely a player that I would look at this summer if Arsenal are in the Champions League. Because I don't know why, I just get this impression that Arsenal are going to look for a winger. I still feel like Pepe may not be an Arsenal player next season. Just for the fact I don't see Arsenal having a £72 million player sitting on the bench. And also, Pepe only has 2 years left on his contract. Probably be the best time to sell him. So, hey, that big six yesterday, mate, they cook side. Yeah, man, he deserved it, man. He deserved it. We all thought Steve had left, and then he came back. Great comeback, man. Sterling, for me, says penalty spot. Rashford needs to prove he still has it before he comes to us. I hear you on that. Gunnar8 said Rashford will flourish when settled. I think nowadays in football, we're very... And we all do it. I do it as well, people. We're very form-based when it comes to judgments of players. When you're in form, you're a world beater. When you're out of form, you're finished. The truth is always probably somewhere in between. Is Rashford a good footballer? Of course he is. Of course he is. This guy was being linked with Barcelona for like 90 million a couple of years ago. But he hasn't flourished now. I think two of the biggest issues. Number one, hasn't really established himself as a left winger or a striker. I don't really know what position he's best in. Also, he spent, 2.5 years playing for Jose Mourinho. And Mourinho is not the guy you want a young player to go and develop under. I'm not saying that Rashford is somebody that we should go for. What I'm saying is I don't think he's a finished footballer. But what I would say is, you know, like somebody just said in the comments, apologies, do we have time? Do we have time to develop him? I'm just saying, when you look at some of the options that we're going for, you know, you look at Alexander Isak, 4 goals in La Liga all season. Bear in mind, Aubameyang's got 5 in 6 games. Is he that good? You know, Calvert-Lewin, I watched him yesterday against Tottenham. He was absolutely dreadful. Now, don't get me wrong, Tottenham battered Everton yesterday. No one really looked good. But the options out there aren't great. I've got to be honest, out of the two that somebody previously mentioned, I wouldn't mind Raheem Sterling at Arsenal. I can't lie. 27, he comes into the club while playing well. It's not always great to go and sign players when they're out of form. But we're going to talk about the Rashford situation a bit more. You know what? A lot of you have got comments on it. And I like your interaction. Let me know what you think. Brian said, I'm a bigger Rashford fan than any United fan, but I think it's because I don't get frustrated by his shortcomings. It's a strange one, isn't it? I just think there is a certain thing going on at Manchester United where very little attacking players are thriving there. Rashford, Martial. Martial was being called a world beater at one stage. He's fallen off a cliff in terms of his, how he's produced and progressed, should I say, moving forward. Greenwood obviously has had issues off the pitch. You look at Ronaldo, he looks all over the place. Cavani hasn't really done anything. What attacking player is thriving at Manchester United, H7 said Rashford is crap. I don't think he's crap, but he's definitely been out of form for a good year or so. South London's finally said Rashford looks no better than when he first jumped onto the scene, and with those wages, it's suicidal. Oof, harsh words, man. Sterling plays in a possession team. Rashford is counter-attack, and then I think we're more trying to become a possession-based team. Which is why, I would take Sterling. I'm going to be honest. Raheem is one I would take. GS said, I get your thoughts on Sterling, Kurt. I can't see him fitting in the system that needs a technical centre forward and a left-footed centre mid. I think we'll get a new striker, so it would depend what striker. I suppose the problem you have if you sign Sterling or any winger at this moment is what happens with Saka, Martinelli, Smith-Rowe. But then I suppose if you sold Pepe and signed a Sterling, you would have 4 to fit into 2. Also European football as well. Midnight said Sterling all day. Rashford is a big no. I just want to know, because I'm intrigued by this. Nearly all of you in the comments are saying I don't want Rashford. And I can understand why. I can. Let me go into Granit Xhaka mode, by the way, because you got loads of comments. I'm just kind of intrigued as to why some of you are saying you think he's such a bad player. I get it, he's out of form. He's been out of form for a while, so I can understand the worries around him. And listen, don't get me wrong. I'm looking here. Marcus Rashford is on 200 grand a week, and his contract runs till 2023, although Manchester United do have an option of extending it by a further year. So in theory, he's contracted till 2024. He's 24 years of age. Right, there we go. We're in Xhaka mode. We're on there. Elusive Glue said Rashford will not leave United. The Glazers wouldn't sell him. I think they will. They wouldn't want him to go because the English tax. He's probably very popular. Dennis said Rashford is finished. Martinelli's clear, and that's from a rival. Sean said a big no to Rashford. Forget form. He ain't never been that great. Listen, I do think there's there's an English thing that happens. We've seen it time and time again, people. I just saw a comment on Twitter that had me laughing. Jamie Carragher saying that Harry Kane's passing is as good as Kevin De Bruyne. I mean, these are the things that we deal with in the media. £80 million for Harry Maguire. They're talking about 90 million for Declan Rice. The English tax is a real thing, people. It really is. Give Rashford a try. Nah, listen, I wouldn't mind him on trial. We have a look and send him back, Keep the receipt. Arsenal fan said, do you seriously think Rashford is a good choice? No, listen. I just think that Rashford, under the right manager in the right system, could become a good player again. At the moment, I can understand I don't see the value in him either, because I do think he would cost a lot of money. Because he is a big name in English football, and he is on 200 grand a week. So financially, it would be a very expensive deal. And he just doesn't seem to have developed over the last few years, which is strange, Goon said Big C has no football IQ. He runs into blind alleys and plays like a player who hasn't developed his game since he was 18. These lot get frustrated with Pepe. Just wait till they meet Rashford. I think when a young player is coming through the system, remember, he burst onto the scene with Louis van Gaal. He was actually doing very well under Louis van Gaal. And then he goes, and who walks through the door? Jose. That is not the guy you want to walk through the door when you're maybe a 19-year-old trying to develop. He went Lukaku. He went Zlatan Ibrahimovic. He wasn't interested. I remember games where Rashford was playing wing-back. So I feel that time under Mourinho, he didn't develop. You then bring in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who's got no tactics. So he's not going to develop you. And now he's got Wreck-It Ralph in charge. So I think he really needed like an Arsene Wenger or Jurgen Klopp, somebody that can develop younger players. But listen, according to reports, I'm just going to read the story out to you briefly. This is the report coming out of Goal. Rashford has grown frustrated with his lack of game time. Only 2 starts in the last 11 games since returning from injury. With the World Cup being at the end of this year, Marcus is worried that he will not make the England squad, never mind the England team. Arsenal, West Ham and Newcastle have all apparently been quoted as keeping an eye on his situation. Arsenal in particular, with their need for a striker. They could be the club at the front of the queue if they make the Champions League. There's the story, people. But hey, it's always interesting. He definitely divides opinion, doesn't he? Shibe said, can see him banging in 20 goals at Arsenal. MJ said, Big C, thank you for the super chat, by the way. He said, crazy you, man, had so much chest for Man U yesterday. Bad time for them, but happens sometimes. It's like Valencia fans bantering Barca. Karma, as they say. Big up MJ, listen, it's football, innit? We do it. When we're having a bad time, we were called Banter FC for a while. We got to give it back to them when it's the other way around, you know. Rastaman said, I would take Rashford. Carrington said, go to West Ham. Dre said, I can see Rashford at Newcastle. He will resurrect his career there. I mean, the fans would love him, that's for sure. And he would get big, big money. Crafty Gooner, thank you for the super chat. Really appreciate it. A lot of people forget he was basically playing all of last season injured. He's playing in an out-of-form team. I think there's a good player in him. That's kind of what I'm saying, Crafty Gooner. Is he on form? No. Has he developed over the last couple of years? I would say he hasn't. I think he's had the wrong managers and he probably hasn't grabbed the opportunity enough himself. He looks a little bit immature when he plays. I do still think there's a talented player there, but I can understand why Arsenal fans feel like, listen, we're not the club for you to come to and maybe, figure out where you're at as a player. NR11 said, what's up, Big C? Rashford is a great athlete. If you can exploit his strengths, he can be effective, but managers have used him wrong. Arsenal said, C unit. Big up to all of the C unit people. Hope you're well. Arsenal 420 said, Trashford, he's not having him at all. Sean said, how much do you pay for him? I mean, that is the problem. I think we would pay. I think he'd be expensive. I really do. He's a name brand. I've been to Old Trafford a couple of times. And I remember going up there and seeing a lot of people with Rashford on the back of their shirt, especially the younger fans as well. He seems to be a very popular player. He's Manchester born and bred. They wouldn't let him go for no 30, 40 million, I'm telling you. He would be expensive. What is Rashford, a winger or striker? Because I'm not 100% sure. I totally agree. Plays left wing, not really sure. And he goes up front and I don't know. I don't know what he's best at. But I think he will do well somewhere, but probably not Arsenal. Gooner8 said worth 50 million. Pap said Rashi is looking to get big money on a new contract. I mean, he's on 200 grand a week. He's already getting that big money, man. He really is. British tax, plus he is at 200k a week. Good luck with that. Samuel De Silva said, my 50th message and counting. There we go. Hey, relax, man. Just calmer, as you say. Curtis, if we get Champions League football, don't be... Samuel. Are you going to tell him, chat, or shall I tell him? Listen, I'm all for big dreams, people. I'm all for big dreams. But we don't need to discuss Haaland to Arsenal. We just don't. It doesn't matter if, Haaland has a word in his ear from Odegaard. Just put that out of your mind. Right? I want us all to dream big, but I don't want us to have unrealistic dreams, people. It doesn't matter what he says to him. Haaland is not coming to Arsenal. It doesn't matter if we're in the Champions League, people. I don't want anybody to have those kind of expectations. People saying timeout settings. Not the H word, I'm telling you. I might have to put Haaland's name on the banned words on YouTube. Don't do it to yourself, people. Don't do it to yourself. It's not fair. We don't need that kind of pressure. Tom said, more João Felix links. Bring him to the Carpet Gaspar. Listen, I like him. He would cost an absolute fortune as well. Dennis said, this is my second message and counting. You read my... Oh, dear. Granite said, Curtis, get on my level, fam. I'm an Arsenal legend. Oh, man. This account is brilliant, by the way. It's funny how Mbappe almost joined Arsenal. Yep, 17 years of age, though, not established. And we were Champions League and we had Wenger who had the French connect. But we still didn't get him, Samuel said, Curtis, I won't lie, maybe I got ahead of myself. My hands are up, my apologies. Listen, I'm all for big dreams, Samuel. I'm all for big dreams, but I don't want you to do that to yourself. I really don't. Let's not think Mbappe. But I said, Kevin Campbell, is that you? Kevin! And start knocking on there. Is that Kevin? But hey, man, listen, the general feeling I can see already that the majority of you wouldn't take Rashford. As far as saying 40 mil, I think he'd cost a lot more than that. I really do. RG said, Curtis, did you hear they're opening the transfer window for foreign clubs in Russia and Ukraine to leave their clubs? If so, would you sign anyone? So does that mean that clubs outside of those countries then can buy those players? Yeah, that's interesting. That is really interesting. Do you know what? I'm honestly not sure. I don't know who's playing for the likes of Shakhtar or any teams in Russia or Ukraine. So I'll have to get back to you on that. But that is interesting. Big C, Rashford feels let down. Sancho walking in making 350k a week. Not for his 200k week. Listen, but see, this is the thing. I'm not sure if that's how his mindset is. But let's be honest. Sancho was ripping up the Bundesliga and doing bits in the Champions League. So he's come in on more money, but he's had two probably massive years where Rashford hasn't had as much. So I don't think Rashford should be focusing on that if that is what he's thinking about. 70-plus goal involvements in 3 seasons. Why not, Curtis? It's an interesting one. Again, I think the price would be where people would be put off. I personally think Rashford would cost 60, 70 million. He's very much a name brand. Rashford does not make it to the World Cup squad. Clip it. I mean, you look at the players now that play on that left-hand side for England. You got Grealish, you got Sterling, Foden can play there, Saka can play there. You know, he's going to have to... Smith Rowe can play there. He's going to have to really step his game up, you know? TM said, Curtis, I'm Arsenal, by the way. How do you feel about Kane above Henry on that list? I mean, it's one of them, innit? I have to admit, it's painful to see. Saw the Premier League. Listen, Kane scored a fantastic goal yesterday. But listen, the reality is Harry Kane better than Thierry Henry? No. Who's got more trophies in their cabinet? A certain Frenchman, a certain Vavavoom. Who's the best Premier League player of all time? Thierry Henry. So listen, Harry Kane, you've got that because of longevity. You're going to play in the Premier a lot longer than Henry did. Respectfully to Harry Kane, I do think he's a very good player, but him being above Thierry Henry on the list means very little in my eyes. Means very little. Thierry left Arsenal, he went to Spain, won Champions League, you know what I mean? There's no comparison. No comparison. Let's keep it 100. Good player, Kane. I'm not disrespecting him, but there's levels to this. There's levels, you know. Go and look inside Thierry's trophy cabinet. There's more than an Audi Cup. That's all I'm saying. K. Hay said, I'm undecided on Rashford. Big up, big up. Can we get Kane? I mean, listen, could it have been Sol Campbell part 2? But I doubt very much it's going to happen, you know. I doubt very much. At the moment, I'm not sure whether I'm doing the Liverpool watch-along. I'm going to try. I've got to go to football later on, and I'm not sure what time I'm going to get back, but look out for the notification. We're definitely doing Real Madrid PSG tomorrow, though. Hopefully, I will be able to do that Liverpool Inter game, though. So listen, we've discussed Rashford. Let me throw another poll in there. Why not? More polls than a strip club, people. Let's get it in there. Would you take Rashford? That'll be the first one. But I think we did talk about it briefly yesterday, but now there's more of you in the chat. Let's quickly... I'm not going to say the price because there's no price being mentioned. Would you take Rashford at Arsenal? I've got to admit, I'm undecided. It would depend on the price for me. But there you go. It's in the comments. I'd be more leaning towards no. I can't lie. I would be more leaning towards no. He's had injury problems as well, you know, which ain't great. 36 mil minimum for Rashford. Most of you saying hell no. Eddie over Rashford. Hey, relax. Relax, man. You know, I know he's not in form, but, you know, he's not that bad. No disrespect, Eddie, man. I'm joking. Vernon said I'd rather keep Eddie. Omar, clearly don't rate him. Just another Welbeck. You don't rate him at all, do you? But hey, I hear what you're saying. NR11 said, no, Curtis, we as fans should not be scared to demand the best players if we're in the best competitions. We should at least make an offer for Haaland. If he declines it, so be it. Listen, we should, but let's be totally honest. And you know I don't cap on here. We talk openly and honestly. I don't think the Arsenal fan base have demanded the best of Arsenal for a number of years. You know, when have the fan base sort of come together collectively and really made noise and put pressure on the club? Super League, we had 2 weeks of protests after that. They were applauding, you know, and it all stopped. There was a couple man outside the Armoury holding up banners. It was done. So the owners know that they don't have to give us the best players. I know that sounds harsh and a little bit horrible, but they don't have to. So I get what you're saying, though. I get what you're saying. Jashar said, big up Curtis, tough crowd today, geez. Nah, listen, I like it. I respect the honesty of the community. That's why I think we've got a goated community here. Because you ain't just going to, you know, roll over and accept what I'm saying. A lot of you will say, nah, you know what? I wouldn't go anywhere near him. Me, personally, I got to be honest, I would be more against it. But sometimes with certain players, I think it's good to take a risk on somebody. But because of his wages and the price tag, I would probably stay away from it as well. Shibe said, well said, Big C, I'm with you. Big up, bro. Ben said, Rashford lost it when he started feeding meal. Nah, man, see, that's where I don't agree. And I know we spoke about this yesterday. You know, I don't think what he's doing off the pitch has got anything to do with the way he's playing as a player. I just think he's out of form. And he probably needs a different club. If man are saying keep Eddie, then I'd rather get Rashford. Man, them are crazy. Listen, I mean, Eddie and Nketiah's not even close to Rashford, let's be honest, you know. I think I was looking the other day at the Premier League. I'm not sure Eddie would start at any team in the Premier League, if I'm being honest. Even Pookie at Norwich, the way they play. I'm not even sure he gets in ahead of him. Weghorst at Burnley, you know, with high crosses, he don't start there. Watford, Josh King, doesn't start ahead of him. Leeds, Bamford, doesn't start ahead of him. And that's the bottom four. Everton, Calvert-Lewin, that's the bottom five. So, you know, I think he can start. He might, I don't think he starts at Stoke. Kevin Campbell's son's starting for Stoke, banging goals in as well, you know. Eddie needs a chance. He's had a chance, bro. He's had a chance. Deserves his MBE, Rashford. Right, let's move on. The poll's there. Yeah, somebody said maybe I should have added an undecided. I think that would have been a good one. Dennis said Rashford is a talent. He needs a fresh start. Still very young. Send Eddie to Forest. Nah, man, I want Forest to get promoted. Curtis would be... Yeah, and this is what I'm saying. And I said this, right? What Sid's saying here. When we signed Thierry Henry, our greatest ever player, I was genuinely unhappy. Not because I didn't think Henry was good, because Anelka had just left. And at that time, Anelka was a level above Henry, if we're being honest. Anelka was one of the best strikers in Europe, young strikers. That's why Real Madrid signed him and won the Champions League. I was like, yo, we're buying this pace merchant winger and trying to put him up front. At the time, we'd probably be in the comments going, hell no, I don't want Thierry Henry. Remember, we signed Thierry Henry ahead of Trezeguet. Trezeguet was a lethal striker. But Wenger had a vision with Thierry, and look what happened. I don't know. All I'm saying, Rashford, probably not, but I wouldn't write him off completely. I do still think there's a talent there. But hey, I get it, people. Can we hit 1,000 likes? 1,500 of you in the chat. Big up to each and every one of you. Love the interaction. Love it. Love the strong opinions as well. You know, we have debate, we have discussion, we're uploading every day, and really appreciate all your interaction as always. We'll leave the poll up for about another 10 minutes, and then we'll get that off. Right, let's talk. Hey, listen, I'm not comparing Rashford to Henry. No, I won't have that. I'm not having that. I'm not comparing them. Don't you worry. Faye said Rashford is top class. Arsenal should sign him. Now he's a Man U fan. I don't know if he's trolling us because he wants him out. Arsenal fan said, as I always say, get either Martinez or Schick. Isaac and Rashford are crap. He doesn't rate any of them. Gladiator Scoop said, I couldn't see Henry could be better than Anelka when we signed him. Looked like a similar player to Anelka, but Henry just got better and better and reached a level beyond. And it was unbelievable to see. Graham said, Curtis, talking about strikers, do you think Arsenal will make a cut price offer for Dominic Calvert-Lewin if Everton are relegated? I appreciate he didn't play well last night. It would be interesting, wouldn't it, if... And listen, I'm not wishing relegation on Everton, but there's a few players there at Everton. If they got relegated, that you'd think, maybe I'd take him. Would you take Richarlison? Would you take Decore? Would you take Calvert-Lewin on the cheap as well, remember? These are guys that might be worth Calvert-Lewin 50, 60 million. You're probably getting him for 30 million, 40 million with a relegation. I've never been that convinced with Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I've got to be honest with you. I think he's amazing in the air and his hold-up play because he's come from the lower leagues. He's kind of got that. But there's something about Calvert-Lewin that just doesn't click with me. I don't know what it is. I really don't know what it is. I'm just not convinced. Iwobi, nah. We already done our dirty business getting rid of Iwobi for 35 mil. Decore's 30. I never realised that. Alan, Decore. I mean, listen, we're going to need a bigger squad next year. Not every player is signed to start. But I get what you're saying. Let's go for Tammy. 20 goals this season. He's having a good season. He really is. But does he suit that league better than the Prem? Maybe the slower league is better for him. Tim said, Curtis, remember when we had the member stream on the last day of the transfer window? I was in my car and I said, Edu and Arteta had a master plan. Go on, Arsenal. Tim, I hope you're right, bro. I remember. But the only thing I'm saying, and I keep saying, long way to go, people. Liverpool at home. Manchester United at home. West Ham away. Tottenham away. Chelsea away. Aston Villa away. These games are going to be the games where we're going to find out if this is a master plan or whether they've got it horribly wrong. Because let's be honest, if Arsenal get Champions League, Edu and Arteta, it's an absolute masterstroke. You've pulled off something that I could never have imagined. Allowing Aubameyang to go, not replacing him and getting top four. I'll be like, oh my days, you deserve so much credit for that. If we don't get top four, I think every Arsenal fan would be right to sit there and say, you have blown one of the biggest opportunities that we have probably had in years of getting top four. Man United have been awful this season. Absolutely awful. They've changed manager. The new manager's not much better. Ronaldo has done nothing really since the first 6 weeks. They're all over the place. There's no way they should be getting top four. Tottenham have had to sack their manager. They're starting to... They're great one week and the next week they lose to Burnley, So they're not great. West Ham are running out of players. Their squad's down to the bare bones. They got Seville this week. They have only got one striker. We should be strolling into fourth. Let's be totally honest with the competition we're dealing with. We got no Europe. We're not in the League Cup. We're not in the FA Cup. We've got hardly any players injured. We've got a settled side. We should be getting fourth. Now, I didn't think that at the start of the season, but let's be honest, we should now. And if we don't get fourth, I think it will be because we didn't address the striker or midfielder situation in January. So... fine margins at the moment, Ryan said, love the show, Curtis. Watch every day. Appreciate your support, brother, and everyone who supports the channel. Aya Fafuka, hope I haven't mashed up your name there, by the way, said, Curtis, can you explain this obsession from some fans for Dominic Calvert-Lewin? The only thing going for him is his English. No one would want him if he was French. Listen, I've said before, I think he's a all right player. I think he's an all right player. He's had one decent season, and they're talking about 60 million for Calvert-Lewin. I don't know. He wouldn't be at the top of my list. He really wouldn't. Shaib said, yes, Big C pouring pressure on the solution. Listen, top four, man. Come on. Look at the competition. They're all over the place. But are we going to have the goals against the better teams? I hope so. We deserve Champions League, man. I'm sorry, we deserve it. We deserve it, man. We've been suffering. We've been suffering as Arsenal fans, man. Let's have a look. Big up Loud Music Entertainment, man. Appreciate your support. Faye said he hopes they finish 8th. Don't want to hear. Man wants his team to suffer. If he was on the cheap, I'd take him. I mean, listen, if they got relegated, you'd probably get Calvert-Lewin for 30 million, but still wouldn't be at the top of my list, man. Big up Olatunja. Hope you're well, man. Appreciate that. Right, let's move on. Something that had Arsenal fans excited. Let me just end this Rashford poll, by the way. 64%, no, 63% of you, I believe, have said no. 37% yes. So a little bit closer than I thought. I thought it'd be worse than that, actually. Curtis, drop the Champions League music. Hey, yo, calmer. Someone who did get Arsenal fans excited yesterday is our former player, Serge Gnabry. Now, I don't think we need a poll for this one, because I think I know what the answer would be for this. He's only gone and uploaded this picture. Now, you don't do that to us, Serge. I'm just letting you know. We're a fan base like no other in English football. We can't take that picture. We can't just look at that picture and keep it moving. We're looking at that picture and we're thinking, it's happening. 60 million, bring him home. What a winger. One of the best in Europe. Champions League. Because, like Nimbo's saying, the fact you've even wore the retro kit, that just tells me you're an Arsenal fan. Durag Gnabry is calling him. You don't do that to Arsenal fans, Serge. We're not in any sort of position to just deal with that. I'm ready to order the new shirt with Gnabry's name on the back. I'm ready. Champions League, Gnabry, Arsenal, bang, let's go. Starboy said I'd play him at 9. I mean, listen, maybe he is going to follow the Pep blueprint and play with no striker. I mean, I can't imagine it. I mean, I'm just looking at Serge Gnabry's stats. Great numbers for a winger. 25 games this season, 10 goals, 4 assists, 10 goals last year, 12 the year. I mean, he gets double figures every year. I think he's an absolute baller. Daily Gnabry pending, man. Daily Gnabry pending. Right. Just wanted to give you a little bit of context behind what's happening, what's been said. Gnabry already has 10 goals this season, but talks over extending his contract, which runs out in 2023. He's got less than 18 months left on his deal, a year this summer. Remains in the balance. Oliver Kahn, who is the sporting director of Bayern Munich, spoke to Sky Sports in Germany, reporting there is a huge difference between the salary expectations of the club and the player. Bayern Munich have reported huge losses over the last few weeks and are looking to severely bring down their wage bill. Boateng was let go in the summer. Sule has signed a pre-contract with Dortmund, and they have yet to agree a deal with Gnabry or Lewandowski. He wants big money. Apparently, he wants a contract in line with the other winger, Leroy Sané, and I would say Gnabry is on a level with him. Oliver Kahn says, at the moment, the chances of Bayern Munich renewing Gnabry's contract are as low as 50-50. He also goes on to say, if Serge does not extend his contract, we will have to look at the situation in the summer. So basically, if he doesn't sign a new deal, they're going to get rid of him in the summer. They're not going to let him run down that contract. He's an expensive player. Latte said, I'll order Gnabry's shirt for sure. Listen, I'm saying this right now. If we hit Champions League, get him back to the carpet. Simple, straight, no messing about. Serge Gnabry, right wing, Arsenal, I'm ready for it. Let's put right that wrong that happened in 2016 when he was loaned out to West Brom and then sold. He is a baller. There ain't no need for a poll on this. This guy's a bad boy footballer. Serious baller. Just looking here at Gnabry's wages. Gnabry is on, I mean, he's 26 years of age. Great age. Ready to come back to the Prem, in my opinion. Right, where is this? Gnabry's wage. Right. Gnabry, 129 grand a week. Let me show you this picture, actually, so you can see what I'm looking at. Gnabry wants it. Wow, Leroy Sané's on massive wages, man. Let me show you this. So, this is Bayern Munich's wages. Lewandowski, top dog, of course. So we've got Serge Gnabry there at the bottom, £129,000 a week. I mean, Upper Meccano's on more than him. I mean, look at Leroy Sané, 273 grand a week. He's on more than double what Gnabry is on. No wonder he wants out. Listen, mate, I don't know if you heard, but we got wages flying all over the place right now. Yeah, we just got rid of Aubameyang, 300k. We got rid of Ozil last year, 300k. We got rid of Kolasinac in January, 100k. We'll move on maybe El Neni and a couple others in the summer. We got wages. What do you need, bro? What do you need to make it happen? You need 250? Come get your 250, bro. Give him 200 grand a week. And get back to London, man. We keep it moving. Give him the shirt number and we keep it moving. Kimmich on 300 grand a week. No wonder they're trying to cut the wage bill. That guy, didn't he come through the system? Why does he need that much money? I'm not even sure. Did Kimmich come through Bayern's youth system? And it's crazy. You don't need to pay him. How's Kingsley Coman on 273 grand a week? That's madness. Their wage structure's mad. Don't be surprised if Gnabry leaves. I'm telling you now. He's looking at Hernandez at left back on 240 and Sané on 273. Gnabry's been better than Sané since he went to Germany. So he's probably saying, yeah, man, give me 270 or I'm gone. Gnabry 14. Listen, Vic, I'm ready for that. Gnabry 14, 200k, 250, right wing, bang. Let's go. Rastaman said Coman is always injured. He's just a super sub, really, isn't he? Break the bank for him. Can you imagine? I mean, I don't even know what front three would play with. Can you imagine if we got like a new striker and got Gnabry and had like, I don't know, Gnabry, Odegaard and Saka behind our new striker, man, and you get a new centre mid next to Thomas Partey and all sorts is going on. We're doing all sorts on a Tuesday night against PSG. You know what I mean? All sorts going off. Muller's 32 on 321 grand a week. They need to cut that wage bill seriously, man. Leld said, Big C, according to Bayern fans, he's been average this season. There you go. He's reigning in on the parade. He's produced good numbers. So, listen, I'm not sure. I don't watch him enough. But listen, I think the general feeling from the fan base is you would take Gnabry. Rastaman said, Gnabry is a serial killer. Someone said, Smooth said, so you're selling Pepe. I'm going to be honest, and I like Pepe. If you're offering me Gnabry in the summer, let's say we make Champions League, and you're saying Gnabry in, Pepe out, I'm doing that deal. I'm sorry, and I like Pepe, but I'm not here to, I'm not here to feel sorry for players. If you're offering me Gnabry for Pepe, then Pepe, thank you for your time at the club, but it hasn't worked out, and I'm ditching him. No disrespect to Pepe, because, if he finishes the season well, who knows what happens. But for me, I just don't feel like Pepe is ever going to be a success under Mikel Arteta. That's my opinion. I think the way he wants to play, I think the fact that Saka is doing so much on the right, then you got Martinelli and Smith-Rowe on the left. I don't see any way how Pepe ends up being a first-team regular at Arsenal. I just don't see it. I think he needs to play in a counter-attacking team. Guna Gang, big up, bro. Appreciate the support. It said all day 100. Listen, I think 99% of Arsenal fans would let Pepe go for Gnabry. Jay Kang said, I rate Pepe, but Gnabry 100%. Demetrius, I agree, Curtis. Hopefully in the summer we get Gnabry and 5 other players. Graham said, Curtis, do you think Arteta plans on playing Martinelli as a striker? If Lacazette leaves in the summer, have Saka from the left, Gnabry on the right, Martinelli through the middle. I mean, I've said many times I'd like to see him through the middle, but he hasn't really done it. So maybe he's got a plan to kind of ease him into it next season when Lacazette leaves, if he leaves, Would you trade Pepe for Rashford? Love your channel. Oh, that's a tricky one. That is a tricky one. I mean, do you know what? I'd take a gamble on Rashford over Pepe. As much as I like Pepe, I don't think he's ever going to work at Arsenal. If you offered me like a straight swap, I would do that. I do like Pepe. I do. I've always had the celebration, the hype when we signed him. I just don't see it happening for him. I'll be shocked if Pepe is still an Arsenal player next season. I really will. 2 years left on his deal. I just don't see how Arsenal let him run down that contract. I really don't. Need some sort of aerial presence, though. But yeah, I think with the amount of crosses we put in, would you still take Zaha? Zaha's done for me. Not as a player in terms of done as a player. He's done in terms of him coming to Arsenal. Most of us know we should have signed Zaha instead of Pepe, you know. And like I said, I had info on that deal. The deal was there to be done. We didn't put the money on the table, you know. Big C, do you think we'll lose ESR if he doesn't get starts? Nah, I think we're good there, man. He signed a long contract. Couple more bits and bobs to get into, people. Couple more bits. You know what? I tell you one thing I've realised today: the community do not rate Marcus Rashford one bit. Oh man, he's definitely not rated in here. Right. We want Champions League, of course. We deserve Champions League, but. And you know what? Yes, sir, you've just put it there in the comments. Spot on. I'm about to bring it up. Is this the reason why Stan Kroenke is not desperate for us to reach Champions League football? The report coming out today is that Arsenal players will be in line for huge lump sum bonuses of up to £500,000 a week if they can get the club into the Champions League for the first time since 2017. I mean, you're talking big, big money. I think it says up to 500,000 because I'm pretty sure if I read this correct, I think it said the 11 players that played the most games got like 500k each. Then as you went through the squad, it sort of lowered down depending on how much you got. It's going to be a good few million. Let's put it that way. I mean, 11 players that, you know, you're already 5.5 million on the 11. And then the squad players, maybe a few more. You could be looking, I don't know, 7-8 million pounds. Does he want them to get in the Champions League? There's also going to be that pressure that, okay, you've got to go and buy better players. Because if you're in Europa League, you can get through the group with your squad players. Champions League, it doesn't work like that. You'll get slapped up in the Champions League if you're not serious. Kroenke hopes we don't make it happen. Abdullah, thank you for the super chat. Said, big up Curtis. This summer we need a solid midfielder for upgrades to Xhaka's role. Attacking players, we need Osimhen and Mane. Sadio Mane, I mean, I think he hasn't got long left on his deal, but I just can't see him coming to Arsenal. But yeah, that's Osimhen I agree with. The story goes on to say, by the way, which I thought was interesting. It said, some players are also understood to have clauses separately written into their deals, which will see their weekly wages automatically increase for the campaign during which the club are playing in the Champions League. So their wages will go up as well. So if we hit Champions League, he's got to pay basically 500 grand each to the first 11. That's 5.5 mil. Then bonuses to the rest of them. Then some of these players' wages go up automatically. You know, he might not want Champions League. I'm telling you now. He's going to have to spend a lot of money. Even though, listen, you get in the Champions League, the club earns more money. But there's going to be brown envelopes all over the place if we get Champions League, people. It also goes on to say, a return to Europe's top table will help accelerate Arsenal's efforts to restore Arsenal to former glories. It will improve Arsenal's hopes of keeping Bukayo Saka as they aim to secure the winger on a new contract, befitting his status as one of their most important players. So not only you got to pay bonuses, not only have you got to activate clauses that the wages go up, you've then got to get players like Saka to sign new deals. He's going to go, hang on a minute, mate. I've been one of the most important players getting you into the Champions League. I want some big, big money here, my friend. I want big, big money. So I'm telling you, man, Stanley might not want Champions League. H7 said I'm overthinking. I have to think like that when it comes to this brother, Stanley Kroenke, man. I don't trust him. You know? Fran's come in. Rashford, a good player, just needs a home like Odegaard. He's come in. He's given me some support. Get Rashford to the carpet. Knuckleball shots going all over the North Bank. People say knuckleballs crosses now. It's mad. What's Ronaldo done to it? Big up, Fran. Hope you're well, bro. I'm assuming you're on the radio tonight. I know Peterborough are playing, I think, Bournemouth. So I'm assuming you're Probably travelling down. Big up to you, bro. Penalty spot. Appreciate your super chat, bro. Said we could have a strong youthful team next season. This is the most important end of a season, an upcoming transfer window for Arsenal in the last few years. Totally agree. Totally agree. I think we've got a big, big opportunity that nobody expected us to have. And I just hope we get there. You know, I really hope we get there. Man said, nah, Fran. I say one thing. They say, what did he say here? Stan signs, though, kind of closes off. But sometimes you can give them deals to players thinking that the club won't get them. I tell you what, mate, you lot get Champions League this year, give you 500k, one-off payment. And you're thinking, top four, mate. You know what I mean? We just sold Aubameyang. We didn't even replace him. We'll be lucky if we finish 6th. Next minute, they finish 4th. And the owner's in crisis because he got to spend a lot of money, you know. Mignon said, Big C, I got 3 devices listening to you now. In the room, the living room, and the kitchen. I have the press like button on all 3 devices, forgetting that it's on one account. That's how much I love you, bro. Hey, I appreciate the support, man. Big up, big up. Really appreciate it. Kassiri said, big up, Curtis. Much love from Uganda. Hope you're well, bro. Partey can buy more Louis Vuitton garms. Would you take Rashford on a free? Listen, on a free is a no-brainer. I would take him if we could get him on the cheap. I would. I wouldn't if we had to pay what I think we would have to pay for him. If United said, you know what, he's got a year left, give us 35 mil. Yeah, I'm bringing him to the carpet. I'd take the risk. You know, you get your money back, worst case scenario on a player like that because he's a big name in football. But the problem is United ain't going to let him go for 35 mil, you know. But I can tell the fans aren't too keen on it. Couple more stories, then we'll round up people. Then we'll round up. This one I thought was interesting. And this is something that I think Arsenal need to address this summer. And you might look at it and think, how does it kind of resonate with Arsenal? But I actually think it does. Now, Gabriel Martinelli has said here in an interview, he was referring to the Arsenal v Manchester United game. He said, when I saw Ronaldo in the game against United, I couldn't really believe he was there. I saw him and I was like, wow, this is Ronaldo. I'm a bit shy, so I didn't say anything. I just shook hands. But to play against my idol, that shows I've got there. And you know what? I think that, listen, I know Ronaldo is not the Ronaldo he was. Of course he's not. I think when you join a big football club, you should feel like you're around stars and a couple of superstars. I think when you sign for Arsenal, you should sit there and look at a player and go, what a player he is. Look how much he's won. Look at what he's achieved. I'm sure when players joined Arsenal and they saw Mesut Ozil, World Cup winner, Alexis Sanchez, Copa America winner, great players, you know, and obviously before that we've had even better players. I still think at Arsenal right now, that's something that's missing slightly now. Listen, Ronaldo, Messi, they're in their own category. We know that. They're not at their best. But like Faze's saying, Ronaldo's, Messi's, they've inspired millions of kids around the world. There aren't players on that level. But I said this the other day. This is the first time, I would say, in my entire lifetime, or what I can remember as a fan, where Arsenal have not had what I would call one superstar at the football club. Growing up, Ian Wright, Bergkamp, Henry, Vieira, Adams. Then it was like Van Persie, Fabregas. Aubameyang was a star for a while. Sanchez, Ozil. We now don't have that player. We don't have that player that people rush into the armory and say, put his name on the back of my shirt. We don't have that. And that's what I think we're missing. That's what I think we need to address in the summer. We spent 150 million in the summer on about 6 players. I think this summer, if Arsenal spend 150 million, it needs to be on 3 players. We need to be signing 50, 60 million pound players. Because I'm telling you now, as a player, even at the levels I played at, and listen, I never walked in a dressing room and saw Ronaldo. But, you know, certain players that came there, who'd played in the Prem or played for their country, you would look at them and think, what do they do? How do they train? Do they stay after training? How are they eating? How are they living? And you look up to players like that. You do. You learn from players like that. And I think as much as your Sakas, your Smith Rowes, your Martinellis are becoming top young players, I think that it's still important for them to see players as well. Now, at the same time, your Martinellis, your Sakas, you hope that they become superstars. But I just think drop one or two in there in the summer that lifts the whole dressing room, that gives us that little bit of magic. We have players who can become superstars, says Carrington. I agree. But the risk always is, if we don't achieve what needs to be achieved, those players will go elsewhere to achieve it. We've seen it time and time again. Nasri was becoming a superstar at Arsenal and he walked, Christian said, man, looking up to CR7 because we don't have any established stars with success for our boys to aspire towards. And that's what I thought was quite crazy about it. I heard Torreira the other day did an interview. He said, when I came to Arsenal, I was a little bit overwhelmed. He said, I saw Ozil, I saw Aubameyang, I saw, players that have achieved big things there, players that he's looked up to. And Martinelli was talking about a Manchester United player, and I thought he should be talking about an Arsenal player. He should be saying, this guy in my changing room, I'm starstruck by him, where he's not. I get what you're saying here as well, by the way. He said, Wale said, we don't buy superstars, we make them. I don't think you can always do that. I think football has changed slightly now. That Wenger finding all these gems, that's not as easy as it once was. It really isn't. Abdullah, apologies, man. He said I missed his first super chat. Apologies, bro. I thought I did read it out, actually. Maybe I missed it. Elliot said, time for a new beginning, Kurt. It's not a bad thing. If you can't sell hype, sell hope. Yeah, listen, man. You're talking some sense there. You can't win big things like that. It's different, innit? It's different. I know people say Klopp didn't buy stars, he made them, but his system, his style, he's a world-class, in fact, I would say an elite manager. His methods are a little bit different, Like James saying, when Klopp signed, Liverpool didn't have any superstars, but number one, he had time on his hands, and number two, he's an elite manager. He's capable of turning Wijnaldum into a star, Henderson into a star, players that we didn't even rate. Andy Robertson, like Simon said, come from Hull City. He's probably the best left back in the Premier League now. Can Arteta do that? We don't know yet. So that's the thing. Usman said, Big C, what do you think about Tolisso from Bayern? Contract expiring, Arsenal fan 27. He would have to be on cheap wages because he's had big injury problems. A few years ago, I really liked him. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure about Tolisso. I haven't seen much of him for a while. Curtis secretly wants Rashford at the club. Nah, listen, I'm not capping for him, but if you offered him cheap, I'd take a gamble. King said Sanchez and Ozil were superstars. We need to buy players in that category to take the next step. They were. Ozil was one of the best 10s in the world when we signed him. Sanchez, for me, was already a top player. I remember the excitement when we signed him. Sal said Trent as well, exactly. Trent, he got in the team, I think, because Klein got injured. He was playing centre mid. Loud said, Big C, have you seen what Charles Watts, who's very reliable, has said? Arsenal are signing 2 strikers and 1 midfielders. I hope so. Haaland has entered the chat. Listen, I'm telling you now, people, as much as I love hope, expectation, I want us to sign somebody of that level, forget Haaland. That ain't happening. Haaland will probably be in the Prem next year, but he'll probably be playing for Pep Guardiola, not for Mikel Arteta. How can Arteta convince Haaland to come to Arsenal? Big C, Haller is a shout. Haller's having a great season. I think the fans wouldn't want him because he flopped at West Ham, and that's the thing, really. That's the problem. Did you see Arteta's assist? Yeah, man. Big up Arteta, man. It's funny, the ref said that the goal should have been banned on Sky because apparently Arteta was outside the technical area. But hey, it is what it is. Don't worry, Roy. I'm sure he'll have a coffee with you afterwards anyway. People, I'm out of here. Shorter show today, 54 minutes. Really appreciate your interaction. Fantastic interaction today. You lot was not going easy on me when it came to that Rashford conversation, but I appreciate all your input as always. Smash the like on the way out. I'll be back on tomorrow at 2 o'clock. I'll let you know later on whether I can do the Liverpool game. Hopefully, I can do the watch along for that if I'm back in time. If not, we are going to do Real Madrid v PSG tomorrow evening. Enjoy the rest of your day, people. Thank you for your time. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And I will see you all soon, people. Bless.